Border czar Kamala Harris is in Honduras today to attend the inauguration of the newly elected President Castro, who's a socialist, and will probably steal all the money we send him while he keeps sending us caravans.
Most people don't want to leave home. If they leave, it is usually because they are either fleeing harm or they simply cannot satisfy their basic needs. The area of cooperation and work that we will do together on economic prosperity will be pivotal to that issue, in particular of irregular migration.
Former Vice President Mike Pence joins me now. Good to see you, Mr. Vice President.
Great to see you, Jesse. Congratulations on the new show. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. We're very excited. So when you did the handoff with Kamala Harris during the inauguration, I'm sure you gave her some very sweet personal advice. Do you think she's taken your advice? I mean, what did you tell her? Did you tell her to go find out root causes?
You know, well, look, that's an old mantra of back in the days of the Obama-Biden administration was that the problem of illegal immigration was driven by root causes. I really wasn't that surprised when she skipped over the border and started to talk about root causes. And look, she's down in Honduras, the new president. She's a socialist. But, you know, frankly, Jesse, I'm more concerned about the socialists she's associating with here in Washington, D.C. than I am in the Northern Triangle. The reality is this administration unleashed the worst border crisis in American history because on day one, President Biden undid the policies that President Trump put into effect that reduced illegal immigration by 90%. That Remain in Mexico policy, as you know, Jesse, was working. We built hundreds of miles of border wall. This administration stopped construction on the wall. They've left massive gaps in the wall. But really, by undoing the policies and focusing on economic development in Central America is a prescription for more of what we saw last year. 2 million illegal immigrants coming across our border. December was the highest month in history. The Biden-Harris administration is failing the American people at our southern border, failing on our economy, and frankly, failing the country at home and abroad.
Well, they're failing in the cities, too. This crime is out of control. You remember Joe Biden. He was never like this before. He was pretty pro-law and order, supported the police officers. What do you think's changed with Joe Biden?
Well, I've said as I've traveled around the country over the last year that, Joe Biden won his party's nomination, but Bernie Sanders won the party.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that the politics of the socialist left are in the saddle in the Democratic Congress. Look, I served in the House of Representatives back in the day with Bernie Sanders. He is a straight-up, unreconstructed European-style socialist, and the politics of the left, including all the politics of defund the police, are driving this administration. And frankly, again, as I've spent the last year, we moved back home to Indiana, but I've spent a lot of time moving around. I get to spend a lot of time with members of law enforcement in cities around the country, and I got to tell you, their hearts are broken by what they're seeing happening.
You mentioned driving. That's expensive now. You fill up, it's an extra $20 every time you go do it.
Right.
I know when you get to Washington or you're in the White House or at the Capitol, everybody drives you around. You have chefs taking care of all your needs, your food. So you're not really connected to the purchasing lifestyle of the American public. Would you suggest Joe Biden and Kamala Harris maybe leave the White House, maybe go to a gas station, go to a grocery store, and maybe see for their own eyes how pricey things have gotten?
Well, one of the advantages of no longer being vice president is I get to drive my own car. One of the disadvantages is I get to pay for my own gas.
What are you driving these days, Mr. Vice President?
I got to tell you, I'm driving a Ford, and I'm currently in the market for a truck. But I got to tell you, the gasoline prices are like nothing I have ever seen. But again, once again, it's the result of the policies of the Biden-Harris administration. We had achieved energy independence for the first time in 70 years by unleashing American energy as never before. And energy prices were low across the board from day one. I mean, think about this, Jesse, that here's an administration, one of the first things they do is shut down an American pipeline, the Keystone Pipeline, and authorize the construction of a Russian pipeline to Germany to make Germany and Europe more dependent on Russian natural gas. You know, the policies of this administration are, I want to say that they make no sense, but frankly, they do make sense to the radical left.
When's the last time you talked to former President Trump? You guys good?
You know, we talked last summer, and, you know, I've said many times, that it was difficult. January 6th was difficult. It was a tragic day in the life of the nation. I know I did my duty under the Constitution of the United States, but the President and I sat down in the days that followed that. We spoke about it, talked through it. We parted amicably.
Mike Pence, who you'll be seeing in your neck of the woods in a Ford driving through, give him a honk, Mike.
Promise I will. Thanks, Jesse.